dropped the ball, went back. Are you recording right now? Keep it going.
Yeah, totally.
Totally. So, cool. We're going to talk about Warped Tour. You're on Warped Tour this year.
Yeah.
By the way, MC Lars, tybot, breakdancing robot. Here we go.
Warped Tour is very different than this. Warped Tour is a hard sell, you know? Like,
yeah.
You're competing with 60 bands, like, you have to be on top of your game. You're up until 4 a.m. partying, and then you have to get up at 8 to, like, fly or promote your set. So it was probably the most exhausting summer of my life, but it was also the most rewarding summer of my life.
All right.
So, yeah.
Much
love, man. Yeah.
You were on Warped Tour. And
yes.
Now you're doing this nerdcore type show. You're the most punk rock on this show, by the way. How do punk rockers compare to geeks?
Well, that's a really good question. I mean, there's always been a crossover, right? Like the Deb Melkman, Aquabats are
definitely.
Adam and his package. I think being punk rock is about being yourself and being different and not being afraid to be like, this is who I am, fuck it, like I read literature, I play video games, I love Star Wars. So being a geek is probably the most punk rock thing.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Right? You feel me, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, speaking of the Aquabats, you've been on tour with them. You've been on tour with, right now, Itzy Chris, Adam Warrock, and Mega Ran, running right now. You have a free track out on the web right now where people can listen to you rapping with such people as
KRS-One.
KRS-One. Now, KRS-One is old school to me.
Yeah.
Old school and, like the Wu-Tang, very good.
Yes.
Now, do you think most kids today don't respect the roots of hip-hop and don't listen to the old stuff? I mean, how do you feel about that?
I mean, yeah, I felt like a Warped Tour. I had on the mixtapes, and one of the ways, you know, you try to sell your stuff is to go up to kids in line or kids walking by and be like, hey, do you like hip-hop? 90% of the kids would be like, no. I think hip-hop has a bad reputation. For me, it took, you know, I was born in '82, I'm almost 29, but I didn't know about the old school until I was like in my 20s. I think it took like this renaissance for me, like realizing that hip-hop had this underground, this old school history, that really old school hip-hop has a charm to it, an intelligence, a production value that's really dope. And KRS-One, you know, to work with him is awesome because I feel like he gets what I do, because I kind of trying to follow in that intellectual tradition, you know? The emceeing, like the storytelling, vocabulary, education, you know what I mean?
The research behind what you're saying.
Yeah, and be like, when you're on the mic, you're teaching, you're preaching, you're spreading the light to people. You're not just trying to make money. And like, kids, I'd be like, yo, I got KRS-One on my album. Who was KRS-One? And kids are like, who?
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe they know the Sublime song. But that's just because it's a lot of smoke a lot of weed.
Yeah, exactly. That's all a lot of those teachers try. Another thing that you speak very passionately about is your activism for, you know,
the AFSB.
The AFSB. Thank you. You know, you had a friend. I'd say it's very sad that he took himself. Your song 23 speaks volumes to me.
Did you have something like that happen?
I have not had something like that happen to me. I've had people close, and stuff, and you can see in the audience tonight, it resonated with them. You know, they've been either on that verge, and someone picked up that phone late one night, and called a friend, and said, "Hey, man, I love you." You know, and you know, I respect that you do that and stuff. And I'm sorry for the loss.
Thanks, man. I mean, this tour, thanks, man. It's real cool because I feel like with the geek culture, there's a lot of introversion, a lot of people who maybe are isolated in ways behind the computer. So, like, it's an important cause to know that suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And that's the whole motto of it. That it's never the right answer. There's always something at the end of the line. Like, kids email me all the time about stuff, and like, I feel like that's my purpose, like, to help people bring them back from the ledge. And you know, I feel hip-hop, for me, hip-hop is a metaphor for all the beautiful things in life, like doing something beautiful out of the impossible. And hip-hop to me is God acting in our lives. And so whatever you want to call that, it's a metaphor for goodness triumphing over sadness and pain. And so with the AFSP, it's like spreading that message, spreading the gospel of hip-hop is my whole purpose in life. hip hop found me. I didn't find hip hop, and now I can help these kids see the light. And last year we raised $1 grand for them. This year it looks like this tour we're gonna raise like $5 grand for AFSP.
$5 grand,
which is sick because kids just donate. You know, it's amazing.
It speaks to our culture.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, being on the Warped Tour, I'm sure helped a lot too.
Yeah, we raised a ton for them. It's awesome.
So being on the Warped Tour, was there any bands that you got along with? Any bands that you got to see, maybe walk backstage, shake hands with, that you want to shout out to?
You know, I became good friends with Les and Jake.
Les and Jake is one of my favorites. Love you guys.
They invited me to come every day. I'd come out and I'd rap a verse with them.
Oh!
You know the song "The Science of Selling Yourself Short"? I did my verse from We Have Arrived.
Okay.
So I came out, and so we were talking about, they're doing a touring show. They're talking about they want to maybe bring me out for some of the shows. So I'd love to tour Les.
Keep us on. We're big Les and Jake fans. We're big MC Lars fans.
I think that tour would be sick.
Oh yeah.
To open for them would be like a dream come true.
Yeah.
So Les and Jake, Greaves and Budo, who are on Atmosphere's label, they were our tour bus mates. And then this guy Big Chocolate, who's a dubstep DJ, he was on our tour bus too. He's sick.
Yeah.
So like, we all became just really good friends.
And that wraps us up.
Cool. What's up, man? Sorry, man. Don't have any money, man.
Sorry, man.
Sorry.
Seattle, MC Lars, Corzon, tybot, breakdancing robot. That's it.